Hey everybody, we have a part 2 from the last video. Now this is the rest of the herbs that we do have. Now there is a disclaimer that I do have to put out there that I am not going to explain what some of these herbs do, because after I tried posting a video about all the herbs I have and all their medical benefits or no benefits, or side effects I should say, not no benefits, a Karen of YouTube had claimed that I was going against Big Pharma and I was trying to poison the world into not taking certain vaccines or medicines that they subscribe, and that I'm endangering people's lives. And apparently the crybabies of the world agreed that my video informing people on what plants do, their benefits and side effects, I guess was too much for her narrow-minded brain, or his, to understand that I was trying to teach people something that obviously they were never taught as well. So with that being said, you guys are welcome to plant them, don't plant them, or better yet, Google it yourself and figure out what the benefits are. But there are some plants I am going to talk about, but there is a couple of them on the table that I'm looking at right now that I am not going to at all mention what they do. So that is all up to you. So with that being said, we're going to start off with this last set. Now, this is the last tray that's going on shelf 14. I got 3 trays across. We got the basil in one, we got the plants from the last video, and now we have this leftover list. Now, these aren't all herbs. They are mixed. Most of these are actually flowers, but they can be used in herbal things. They could either be used as supplement for medicine, they could be used as a perfume, they could be turned into candles, they can be turned into potpourri, and then there's ones that I actually use for decoration, and then there's plants that I also use for actually, I call them my bodyguard plants, and they protect the plants that are out in my garden, keeping certain bugs and insects away from my tomatoes and so on and so forth. So the first one we are going to start off with is yarrow. I know. Like I said, I could be a substitute teacher. I have horrible pronunciation of some of these words. It's a dense clusters of tiny white flowers. Top fragrant. Blooms all summer long. Attracts beneficial insects and other pollinators to the garden. This beautiful plant looks stunning planted in mass or as a border. 14 to 28 days to germinate. Planting depth basically right at the top of the soil, because it literally says 0. Full sun, 65 to 75, and yeah. So what I did is I looked at all of these different plants from the last video and this upcoming plants that I'll be planting. And I looked at most of their temperatures, and some of them prefer to be at 75. So obviously, with that being said, I got the glasses on and the lights that's causing like double vision here. Obviously, with that being said, I took the temperature that was 80 degrees and I dropped it down to 75 so that our y'all can handle it. Somebody had to spray perfume in the air, so now my nose is all fucked up. Just open a window, can't we? Gotta spray perfume. Next one we have is another yarrow, but it's the western one. This is the one that's going to go right across the prairie. This is a perennial plant with a dense small clusters of white flowers, like the same 25 to 50 days of maturity. Maturity. 20 to 45 days for germination. Light requirement to germinate. This plant is drought tolerant. Basically, it's the same one. I think it's just because this is a more of a western crop. It's a little bit more drought tolerant than the other one is. Alright, the next one, starting off on the herbal plants, I know, my nose is fucked now. Next one we have is Inrincia. Inrincia. You figure that one out. It's also a perennial plant. It looks really cool. It produces large, beautiful, colorful flowers. Popular with wildlife, especially bees and butterflies, which are two things you definitely want in your garden, especially bees. Bees will help. I've even come up to the plan of almost thinking about buying bee boxes and putting them in different spots on my property so that the bees come, because I noticed last year how I'd have a bunch of bees and it was like a freaking bee party out there. They're going from the cucumbers to the tomatoes to the squashes to the zucchinis to the peppers. It was like just one big thing, and then they would get drunk on the marigolds, and then they'd disappear. And I remember one little bee landed on me and pollinated my nose, and then I was sneezing for the whole day. But he was just crazy amount of pollen on him. And that's the biggest thing that helps. And then all your plants will just take off, and all you gotta do is just pick, eat, water. That's it. Don't prune, don't trim, don't do nothing to them. Not even fertilize. Fertilizing, honestly, there's only really 2 times you fertilize, is when you transplant and when they start their first flower. After that, that's it. If you want to over harvest and over chemically molest your plant, go ahead. Good. Keep throwing Miracle Grow on it. It's great. It's great. You wonder why your tomatoes taste like aluminum cans. Let's see, 90 to 120 days for maturity. This is a perennial. This one also has certain benefits that you want to Google, which I'm not going to say. You could direct sow it 10 to 20 days for germination, sun to partial shade. You can begin to harvest during the 2nd year. You can take the leaves at any time or flowers when the bud begins to open. That's how you get it for your medicinal purposes. Or you could just, have it as a cool plant. It's up to you. This is going to be my first year planting it, so it's going to take 2 years before I can harvest it. So hopefully it goes. Planting depth is a 1/2 inch. So we got the hole dug for it. All right. Next one is Summer Savory. 60 to 70 days, barely cover in soil during planting, 1/16. 10 to 21 days of germination, direct sow or sow indoors. Full sun, best known for its annual herb flavors. Harvest summer savory in the morning after the dew has dried. The leaves reach their best flavor right before the plant flowers. This is a new one that I'm planting this year. Sounds interesting. Especially if I'm out there on like a nice Saturday or Sunday morning looking at my plants. At least I know I have a snack that I can have with my coffee. Okay, the next one that we are going to be talking about, you could use this as a potpourri. You could use it as a body lotion. You can turn it into soap. You can do so much with this. And it's used in so many different products. Or at least the oil from this plant is. And no, it's not THC. It is lavender. Now, I bought lavender from multiple different companies. And this company, I swear to God, that I bought it from, it just doesn't seem like it wants to grow. But who knows? Yet again, it might have been, starting it at a certain time and issues. This one is 14 to 21 days for germination, 90 to 130 days maturity. Flowering periods, spring from May to August, summer, September to October. My issue with this plant, it wasn't that it didn't flower, it just didn't grow. So we are going to try 3 different entries of it. And this is going to be one of these that we're just going to constantly keep going, reseeding the pods with these seeds from this packet until this packet is gone, and then I'll grab another packet and roll the dice. Alrighty. The next one that we have here on this list is a medicinal plant. It doesn't have to be used for medicinal purposes. This one you definitely want to take a look into. The only thing I can say is that there are probably more side effects that overweigh the beneficial of it to a certain point. But this is something that is easy to grow, and it is called St. John's Wort. It is a perennial. It's been cultivated for centuries for medicinal properties. The bright yellow blossoms have a showy appearance with 5 yellow petals and a star shape with multiple stigmas. 7 to 14 days to germinate. 1/16 planting depth. Soil temperature 70. Full sun to partial shade. Sow direct outdoors in fall for overwintering, or start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before frost. If seeds do not overwinter, cold stratification for 4 to 6 weeks improves germination, which basically means you stick them in the freezer. Fucker. These companies, man. I like them, but it's like make a perforated edge with a zipper. Simple. Gently press seeds into top of soil medium. Soils require light to germinate. Harden off seedlings and transplant into a pot. So this one I am only doing one of. One pod. Even though one pod could have like 30 seeds in it. You know, just like I got one tomato plant in there that's probably, I'm actually looking at it from over here, and it's probably going to be one of my biggest pod tomato plants ever. Yes, I can harden them off and cut them all off and just keep one like all the other idiots out there do it. Or you could just separate the pod and you have multiple tomato plants. Or have them grow in one spot. Just like I have the red, white, and blue cherries growing in one spot. Just like I have all the other stuff. Just like I did last year. I had 3 or 4 plants growing in one spot. Did it affect it? No. What it needed more water. It needed more nutrients. And that was really simple to do with the eggshells and the chicken bones, and you just blend them together, and you know, you go out there, you get the first flower. That's when you fertilize. You'll pull the soil back around the plant. So if my head is the stem of the plant, you want to pull this soil all the way back. You want to pull it all the way down, not far down, but you want to pull it back. Put your fertilizer around it, and then cover the soil back up to your plant. Add some more soil on top. Try to raise the soil level. The higher the soil, the better it is for the tomato plants. They will constantly, for the longest time, constantly put roots outside of them. They are big, rooty plants. You will notice when you go to rip them up at the end of the year, their roots will be just like the celery. It is a huge root ball. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit of, you know, bone meal and maybe some eggshell powder around the whole area. Not right on the base of it, but like in the vicinity of it. And then I'll pull all the wood chips back to it, but not touching the stem, and I'll leave it. And that will be the last time I fertilize, is once you see the first flower. Anyway, and I will constantly remind people that over and over again, because I know people are going to forget. So, the next one that we're going to jump down the road of, and I know a lot of people right now, you guys are getting a little impatient on getting to the end of this video, but you are in luck. We have impatient seeds. Now, I know my planting puns are potstery, you know. Okay, so these are Touch Me Not seeds. I love how they came in a packet that's going to fall apart. It's probably where the sneezing is coming from, is more of this than something else. But at least I got a baggie from one of my other ones, so I'm going to reuse that Ziploc bag to put these in. I don't know how many to put down. I had talked to a co-worker of mine about impatient plants, and one of the things he said a while ago to me is like, wow, you know, they're hard to grow because, you know, you need to have this whole elaborate setup with lights and heat mats and shit. It's like, oh, no problem there. I took 2 tomato trays that are, you know, started, and I stuck them all on one shelf together so that I got some other stuff where I'm going to be filming, hopefully today, My nose will behave. And last but not least, the last one, my bodyguard plant, is marigolds. Now, I'm going to be constantly planting these over and over again. But one of the things I want to show you guys with marigolds, and if you're looking for a company to buy from, this is a company I will stand behind over and over again. And the reason why is because I had 2 plants last year, and this is my harvest of seeds from those plants from last year. And this is not all the seeds. There was a lot of seeds I left on the plants out there, but I wanted to get a good amount of it, and those were the seeds that I got from them. So I know that those plants, I'm going to constantly keep getting a freaking awesome harvest. Okay. These are the petite mixture marigolds. They're vibrant yellow, orange, and red flowers. These petite marigolds look fabulous in a garden, and they sure do. And from my experience, it says 1/4 of an inch, right? 6 inches of spacing, 7 to 21 days of germination, 56 to 63. They're annuals, unfortunately, and they are needing full sun. They will grow to basically, you can't even see my hands, because but they'll grow bigger than this and like taller than about up to here. They become a nice ball. So when you want to put these in there, if you have 2 tomato plants here, you want to put the marigold like back here where my head would be, right? Just you want to have it spaced back, so like about a foot back or whatever you can. Because I had it between 2 tomato plants, it didn't affect the tomato plant at all. The tomatoes were growing into the marigolds, but it was hard to find the tomatoes when they were in the middle of the marigold plant. But hey, it is what it is. It protected them. It did its job. It looked beautiful. The bees loved it. I love seeing them, and that's all that matters. So anyway, guys, this is it for today's video on the herbs. This is part 2. Like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Go look up half that stuff before you buy it. See if it's something that you want to grow or even look at in a medicinal purpose. You don't have to use them as a medicinal purpose. I'm like getting stuck in my chair. You have to use them medicinally. You can just use them for their flowering, the coloring, the attraction of beneficial insects. And so anyway, guys, that's it over here. This is Mike from Growtopia. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and well, get to growing. You either grow now or grow later, or you just grow year round, just like I do.